Hey everyone, welcome to the Gods and Charmers channel. I am Claire and welcome back. It has been a little while. Our last uploads was the 12 days of crystals in the lead up to Christmas. So if you missed those, you can pop along and check them out. I have a playlist on the channel, or you can just go and flick down the rest of my videos. So January and most of February has been extremely hectic for me, as I have been teaching our spiritual self-care for the New Year course. I teach about 5 live and interactive courses per year, and I'm about to open enrollment on the 28th of this month for our next course, all about the gods and goddesses, matrons and patron deities. It's going to be a great one. So I've been quite busy teaching, and we also have one of our huge Crystal Treasures events over in our community group on Facebook. If you would like to join us over there, you can go in the drop down just underneath this video, and there'll be a link to our Facebook group where our big events are held and where the courses open for enrollment and our subscription boxes go live. A lot happens in there, plus our new moon and full moon videos. But today we are going to be talking about the Rose of Jericho, also known as the resurrection plant. Let me get this up here so there's not going anywhere. So this is what a Rose of Jericho looks like. It is called the resurrection plant because it can survive almost complete desiccation. When it is dry, and this would traditionally be in the desert, in dry conditions, it shrivels up and goes brown and looks kind of like a tumbleweed. So this is when you buy a Rose of Jericho online or in a spiritual store, this is what you will be getting. Now, when you take this home, you do not want to put this straight on your altar. It's not to sit on an altar like this, because it is currently obviously quite desiccated. So it has not a death energy is the wrong word, but it has no energies of abundance or life or anything like that attached to it at this time. It's in like a stasis, having its little sleep basically. So we don't want to put that energy on our magical altars where we're trying to attract and manifest. However, this powerful little plant is really amazing for attracting anything to you. It's especially potent for prosperity magic, so great to have on your prosperity altar within your home, but you can also use it other ways in other types of ritual. So when you get your Rose of Jericho home from wherever you have purchased it, you want to get a dish like this, and you want to tap it, lost some down here, you want to tap it over the dish like so, okay? And this will get off any loose little crumbs like this. Now those you can put around plant pots in your home, because you'll be moistening the soil around those plants, which will activate these tiny little pieces here, and you can put crystals with them. Other plants really like them. It helps them grow really strong. You can also add these little bits to your magical oils, which again is going to wet them and bring that life back into them, so they can be used to attract and manifest. You don't want to throw these little crumbs away. Now you will want a little dish big enough to sit your Rose of Jericho in an upright position like so. A glass one is ideal because you can see through it, so you can see when it's going to be low on water, but I like to use something like this because this is handmade, and it's just nice and goes with the energy of my particular altar. You can see the little rooty structure on the bottom there, and that's always going to be your base, and the bits that curl in is going to be the top, so you're going to want to put it that way round. Now, how do we bring this to life? Then we'll talk about the magical properties and how to use it. I'm going to be inserting some pictures into the video, so you'll be able to see this one in the various stages. But what you will do is you will take your dish and you will put in enough water to fill up past the root system of your Rose of Jericho, and each one will be slightly different. So I like to fill mine reasonably high up so it's not going to overflow, and then you plop this in and you sit it down, and then over the coming few hours the plant is going to open up. Now, depending on your particular plant, because they're all quite unique, it may turn quite a bright green. You see some of those in like Google Images sometimes, but they have been altered. But sometimes they go really, really bright green. Sometimes they stay a brownish colour. Every single one is quite unique, but it will completely go from like this and it will unfurl and be open. That is when your plant has resurrected and is ready for you to work with. Now, the quickest and easiest way to work with the plant without using all of it is to use up your scraps. Like I say, you can put this in oil, in plant pots around the home with crystals programmed for calling in happiness to the house or whatever other energies you want to attract. Because remember, this plant is all about birthing and rebirthing. So it's going to be able to attract to you to birth more of something. So if you're looking to call in more prosperity, if you're looking to call in more happiness, even if you're looking to call in a partner, you can use a Rose of Jericho. Now, when it comes to the actual plant, you can have it open once it's resurrected, and you will need to make sure that you keep the water clean. Okay, you don't want to let it dry down to nothing, because your plant will start to close back up again. And you don't want to let the water in here go dirty, because if it starts to get dirty, bacteria begins to breed and the bottom of your plant could become like grow a fungus, which we do not want. No one wants a fungus on their magical water, right? So clean out your water a minimum of once a week. Just keep a little bit of water in there, enough so your plant is open and living and beautiful on your altar. Now, you can simply do that and its energy is going to be right there on the altar. The other thing you can do is place crystals in here. If you're putting this on a prosperity altar, once it's opened, you can place some natural citrine, you can place some coins in here, because remember, the energy of this plant is birthing more of, is bringing to life, bringing back to life. So if your finances need to be brought back to life, some natural citrine, tumblestones, some pound coins you can put in here, and they can sit on your altar and it can simply be used like that. Now, if you want to go a step further, and that, by the way, I should say, goes for any altar you place this on. If you have a love altar, if you have a happy home space, you can put crystals in here for a happy home and little symbols and little bits of paper with what you're looking to attract. Whatever you want, you can put in the center of the plant, keeping in mind its energies. Now, if you want to go further and do some ritual process with this, and you really want a boost of energy and you really want to make the most of your Rose of Jericho, what you want to do is have your Rose of Jericho, open it up so it comes to life, place it on your altar. Then you want to take some crystals that you have programmed for what it is that you want to rebirth. Okay, so do you want to rebirth and attract finances? Do you want a rebirth when it comes to love or a relationship? Do you want a rebirth when it comes to your home and the energy in it? If you have been through a terrible time with health, do you want to rebirth there? Whatever aspect it is that revolves around rebirth, take some crystals that are in line with that intention, cleanse them, charge them, program them. I have a video on that. It's rather old. I really need to get on with refilming that. I think I'm going to split it next time into 3 smaller videos. But the video's there, all the info's there. Plus you can get a load more information in my closed Facebook group as well, or the Book of Shadows page on our website. But once it has opened, you put those crystals that you have cleansed, charged and programmed in there. Now you can also add other little tokens depending on what it is. So if you were working with love energies, maybe you would want to get some little crystal hearts or other items to do with that intention. If you are looking for prosperity, you might want to put in some natural citrine, and you might want to put in a few pound coins. That's a really powerful money ritual. Don't put in pennies. You could put in a note if you wanted, but coins, they will survive the process better, and if they get wet, it's fine. Although here in the UK, our notes are pretty much made of plastic these days, so they will survive this process. They will even survive going in an oil bottle, being taken out, being washed, and survive. So trust me on that one if you're in the UK. But if you're not, don't put paper ones in there just in case they do get wet, unless you're okay with that. So you put those things in the plant when it's open and alive on your altar. Then what you do is take it off your altar after the ritual, and you allow this to dry out. So take it up, tip out the water, sit it on the side in somewhere where air's going to circulate, and it's going to dry out, and it will close up and go back to this state. And inside it will have whatever items you placed in there during your ritual. So maybe you placed in papers with your intentions on, along with your crystals. Maybe you put money in there. Whatever it may be is going to get closed up in here. Once it's fully closed, fully dried out, you then take your dish, take it back to your altar, fill it with water, and then allow it to rebirth and come back to life. And as it does so, it's going to open up, and whatever you placed inside is going to be sitting in the middle. And that is going to have the most potent rebirth energy right into those tools and into the altar space that you have placed it on. So that's a really, really powerful ritual. You can then leave the items in here and keep replacing your water, and this becomes permanent on your altar. Or if your altar won't support that, or you're worried about leaving it long term due to little furry friends getting up there and things like that, because you don't want them drinking the water from this dish, it would be very bad for them. What you can then do is take the tools out that you put in, so your crystals or whatever else it was that you placed inside, and you place those on your altar, and you can allow your plant to go dormant again, and you can store it until you want to do ritual with it again. So it's completely up to you if you want to keep it as a living, constant energy stream on your altar, or if you want to actually use it in ritual and charge up your tools with that energy that you then go on to use however you see fit, and then let it go dormant. And you can, once it's dry like this, as long as it's got airflow, I wouldn't store it in like a plastic bag or something like that, unless it's got some holes in it. A paper bag would be good. But you can store it and bring it out when you want to do ritual work in future. Now, other things you can do with the plant as well is to keep the water, because the water that your Rose of Jericho has rebirthed in, don't forget this also has the potent energy from the work that you're doing and the plant. So don't be throwing your water from this plant down the sink. You can use it around your house to feed your house plants with. You can use it to anoint crystals and other tools on your altar. Now, of course, I mean, mine's pretty clean, and I take the bits out. But even with me removing these bits, when this reawakens again and rebirths, there's always going to be little bits coming off, because it is a little plant and it has little ends and stuff like that. So with your water, if you're anointing tools, but you're like, Claire, I don't want to be anointing my tools with some dirty water. And I get you. I really do. You can just get some muslin cloth and pour the water through it, and it will take out any of the little dust bits, any of the bits of plant that have fallen off. Again, you can keep those, dry them out, and then use them in your spells and rituals later, should you want. And then you can use that water to anoint your altar, to clean your altar. I've cleaned down a prosperity altar base with this before. I have friends that put it into a spray bottle and clean down their altars with it, because the plant has reawakened in there. So it has this energy of rebirth that you can take through your entire practice. You can anoint ritual candles with the water from this plant once it's open. You just never want to be doing any magics with this plant like this. Sitting this on your altar, or, I mean, you wouldn't, if there was water, it would be opening. So that would be here nor there. But you don't ever want to use it just dried out like this on your altar space, because it's the wrong energy for your working if you're planning to attract and rebirth, and that's what you want to use this plant for. But do keep your water. And if you have got too much water, because you're like, oh, I'm changing this water out really frequently, so I don't need that much magical waters, like I say, feed it to your plants. You can put it outside if you have a garden to those plants. You know, be respectful in the way that you discharge of your water that has come from working with this wonderful plant. There's no point wasting all that magical energy and sending it down the drain when pretty much you can think up so many uses yourself even with this. I'm sure I've mentioned a few ideas. You probably have 10 others. If you use your Rose of Jericho in a different way and use the water differently, or you have a little ritual that you like to do with it, feel free to share down in the comments below, because everyone works with them slightly differently. I've just given you a basis to go from and get you started working with this wonderful plant of resurrection. So I really hope you have enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll be able to get you up another YouTube video very soon. But if you enjoy seeing me on video and chatting about things and learning things, do come across and join our Facebook group, because that's where I'm live all the time. Or if you'd like to come join me on one of my live courses where it's just small groups and there's a lot of one-to-one, it's all live and fun, you can come and do that. But have a wonderful day, whatever you are going to be doing. That's it from me. Blessed be.